small. Wow, tiny.
You are currently listening to Tiny Table,
where we explore TTRPGs you might not have heard of.
Whether big or small, we hope to cover them all.
Because we know that great things can come in tiny packages.
No one compares to my baby. Will you please stay here by my side? Save me from the stress, 'cause my heart is a mess. Tell me you will always be mine. Help me, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Tiny Table, where no game is too small.
Welcome!
Here at Tiny Table, the game always changes, but our lovely players stay the same. Introduce yourselves, lovely players.
Hi, I'm Holly, and I'm playing Lodge Marge Capote. And my favorite spooky scary game is Doki Doki Literature Club. The way that when oh my god, what's her name? She's like the one that's like, I'm
Naomi?
so shy and I have huge tits.
Oh.
Holly, stop talking about yourself. We're
I'm
talking about the
sorry,
dating
I'm
character.
sorry. It's so hard not to. That the one that has like the purple hair. When Yuri's eyes turned into real eyes as she's having a breakdown, I actually almost like shut off the game completely.
Mm-hmm. That's legit.
So,
Freaky deaky.
so spooky.
It's very spooky. And speaking of spooky, it's me, the spookiest of them all.
Rat Food!
Played by Skylar Watley. I gave my last name, that's fine. Anyway, it's me. And my favorite, I'm actually going to give a shout out to a sort of genre of horror games, which are the RPG Maker horror games that like trended the sort of 20-aughts, early 2010s media, things like Corpse Party, Crooked Man, Mad Father. There's a lot of good ones, and there's a big nostalgia for those type of games because I think they were just unpolished enough in their art that I could play them without getting too spooked. Games nowadays, like Outlast, not for me. It's too much.
Too much.
It's too real.
I gotta give a shout out there. My younger sibling Scout would not forgive me if I did not mention the best RPG Maker horror game, Ebe.
Ebe is also fantastic. Or Owl Oni. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot anyway.
Hi, and I'm Neo, and I'm going to be playing Barbara Doc Croswell. And my favorite spooky scary game is probably Darkest Dungeon. It's very sort of also kind of Cthulhu themed, you know, cosmic horrors from another realm, and really what's scary about it is the combat, because boy do you die very easily in that game, so that gives me a big rush. I'm not really a fan of scary games. I'm a sensitive guy.
Yeah, RNG is the most terrifying cosmic entity of all.
Don't I know it? Haunts me every table. And our lovely little keeper of lore.
And
Our genius loci.
And I have been, and will continue to be your keeper of arcane lore, Julian. My favorite game that is scary is Bloodborne, but I wouldn't call that like a horror game. That's just kind of the vibe of that Souls-like. My favorite scary game is the never to be repeated, because it's too scary to play again, Kitty Horror Show's Anatomy, which is, if you want it, it's like, it's either free or very cheap. And it's on her itch.io page, and man, this girl just makes like the scariest, bestest games it's ever been. Anatomy is just a very good one about exploring a house and learning what it's like to be in a house.
While we're still in this little bit before we move on, I'm going to give a quick shout out to World of Horror, which I've not played myself, but
game looks
bought.
really good.
Yeah, but bought for one of our dear friends recently. It's very Junji Ito inspired, and it's terrifying. Just watching the trailer, I was very spooked, and apparently it's really good.
Uzumaki coming soon.
Coming soon.
It might actually be out by the time that this is airing, and as someone who is not good with scary things, I am ready to watch Uzumaki through my fingers.
Wait, okay, I gotta ask. Wait, who all here has read Uzumaki?
I tried to, and I got too freaked out by literally when the dad is in the weird spiral. I
Yep.
was like,
Chapter 1.
I've
But I know
skimmed
the
through
plot.
pages.
But I know the plot.
I've skimmed through pages, but I've not read it cover to cover.
I've seen art from it.
Wow. I was not expecting me to be the only one here who's actually finished the whole thing. It was my first Ito, like the first ever.
Wow.
I was like, everyone was like, this one's his best, and I went, why wait? Like, I'll just
Why
let's
wait?
start with the good one.
Yeah,
Surprised.
They're
They're all
failing
the
to
good
mention the one about his cats.
So yeah, I dated a girl that was into Junji Ito, and so I read a bit of Junji Ito, but Uzumaki was very long, and I got so freaked out by it. He draws the scary so good.
Nothing has maybe ever been more effective as like a real life jump scare after reading or engaging in some sort of horror media than like I read all of Uzumaki in one sitting, all like 20 chapters of it. It's long for horror, but it's not like long. Probably a good 3-4 hours of reading. I stand up because my parents are like, yo, you got to take out the trash. I go to take out the trash. It's late at night. Take it out to the curb. We're in like a suburban neighborhood. It's fine. Everything's chill. But then like on the way back, I like hit like a little something on the driveway and trip over it. And it felt genuinely like very resolute. Like I had hit like some sort of bump in the road or something quite like solid that would have tripped me. I look back at what it is, and it was just a single bug on the ground, but it wasn't just a bug. Was a snail. And I ran inside and then realized that the banisters of all of our stairs feature spiral patterns on the inside of the house, and I went, I don't need to sleep tonight. Sleeping's lame.
Wow, that's great.
Whenever-
That snail had like the will of God. Like it would not
Yeah.
be moved by something as simple as a human foot.
Yeah, it's like that the snail in Adventure Time.
Yes.
Our chameleon will curl her tail up in a spiral, and I always, when I pass, I'm like, sick Uzumaki, right?
reference.
Beautiful. Let's get into
Now
it.
I'm all spooked.
Now that I'm all scared of geometric patterns,
Let's go to this.
Now that we got our heads spinning.
when we last left our criminal investigators, we've had a bit of a divergence of approach. Now that we have approached the Danvers State Hospital in looking for our good friend Larry Croswell, cousin of good old Doc, our heroes split their paths after a little bit of forgery to do a semblance of identity swapping between Doc and Large Marge. Wives are able to share a lot of things under the law. Illegal wives can illegally share things under illegal law. You know, it's all very...
It's just fair.
It's just fair.
This business.
Yeah. Is marrying a criminal doctor kind of like marrying into an insurance plan?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 That
Sure you
was
don't
the-
charge her.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was the whole free bullet removals for the family.
No copay. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I know. She does me good. We have a good life.
And your wonderful daughter, Rat Food, was the first of the three of you to approach.
I also get free health care. I also get the most health care because I need care the most.
Can't stop eating just slime ooze that I find in the sewer.
There's so many funky flavors in the dress that you don't get served up top.
So good old Rat Food did some pretty impressive espionage, climbing up the facade of the Danvers State Hospital and getting a great overview of the floor plan of the total area, and starting to get a sense for the distribution of care within the facility. This notion that the further you get from the epicenter, the more squalor, the less care, the tighter the conditions, the lower the hygiene. All things that indicate an overcrowded, maybe underfunded facility that is certainly not doing well by a good amount of its patients in its further wings. After Rat Food reported back, Doc went in second, posing as a doctor representative of BU here with a plan to experiment on and with the patients at Danvers State Hospital. proposing, kind of in vagaries, the notion of trying to tie certain psychological traits to certain physiological traits, which, as eugenics coded as that is, would have gone over great in the 1920s. That was all the rage back then.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't just let me in through the door. Like, oh, you want to do a eugenics project on our crazy people? Please, go right ahead.
Misogyny.
Right this
Misogyny.
way. Right, misogyny. If you were a man, he would have loved for you to do the eugenics.
I know.
C'est la vie. But given the kind of, nature of this being a lie, you did not yet have all, the paperwork and the, needed to convince him to just sign off on things starting straight away, but he did consent to a tour of the facilities. That's where we left off, and that's where we'll be rejoining as the superintendent of the totality of the hospital, Dr. James Berger, begins your tour to the northern wing, which is the same wing along which Rat Food did her scouting. Initially, he gives you a brief foray through the central hall itself, the kind of front center administrative building. He shows you around various business offices, a dining hall, large reception room. He briefly introduces you to the assistant superintendent, or at least he intends to, but the assistant superintendent is out right now. Shows you his office, indicates the lavatory if you've ever need of it, shows you the dumbwaiters, and then starts to lead you on down the wings. As he leads you into the first of the wings to the north, he says, so here we're going to have the G wing. We've got these alphabetized, running the southern wings run A on the furthest exterior to D on the interior, right over there. He gestures across the hall. And then that naming pattern continues onwards. The E and F are the central administrative buildings, so we begin with G here, and it continues on H, and then the furthest one on the end would be the J wing. We'll not be touring directly all the way to the J wing today. The J wing, just for matter of safety and security, houses our violent patients. If you've need of direct visitation during your studies, I'd be happy to set you up with a security detail, but for today, we'll take a look at some of the opening wings. The design is largely symmetrical throughout, but an initial tour will always be helpful. He leads you into a large hall that branches on down, long series of wooden doors, kind of all along both the east and west walls that run along the length of it. Halfway through the hall, he indicates to one side and to another a pair of mirrored parlors, all set up with a variety of tables. There's a chess set on one of them, checkers on the other, a couple decks of cards scattered about. There's a few inmates who are currently playing games with each other. A majority of the rooms in this opening hallway, in this opening wing, seem to have one person to them from your glances through the little cell, the windows through the doors. He briefly shows you a little further in. There is a dining room on the far end of the wing, large enough you'd guess to accommodate probably 50 people dining simultaneously. Probably maybe 100 total if you kind of tight pack the tables. And then opposite the dining room, there is a larger dormitory set up with some bookshelves. They're not profusely populated, but there's a decent smattering of books filling the shelves, a couple tables, desks, writing implements, chairs. The dormitory is currently more sparsely filled. There's only a few folks currently. One's reading a book, making some notes in the book itself. Another seems to be doing some freehand illustration with charcoal. He briefly points you down the way to the restrooms, and he says, so this is the basic layout of a wing. The wings continue in nigh identical fashion all the way down. There are slight changes in the internal geography just for the J-wing, because we need of heightened security there. But other than that, it's basically this all the way down for the majority of the wings, and the design is symmetrical for the other side. I'd be happy to go over kind of the itinerary of how we divide this later, but generally speaking, it is general populace admittance, but we will trend our, most well-adjusted folks closer here to the interior. As I'm sure you can understand, folks who are looking to be visiting family or touring, we of course want to be putting on our best face here, so these are our most agreeable patients, those either near the beginning or the end of their stay who don't show any extreme conditions. Those who have more therapy requiring needs will be a little further on in the H wing, one beyond. Further on in the I wing, that's more where you'll find those individuals who are in need possibly of some degree of physical restraint at times, or those who are under very heavy medication. Those are generally not going to be areas that we would want you going into without a security detail, just for your safety, I'm sure you understand. And of course, the J-Wing is only for our most violent inmates. We operate on a solitary confinement system. We do all we can.
Of course.
The wings are largely the same in the opposite direction. He kind of pivots and turns and starts making his way in the southern direction towards the D-Wing. Is there anything you'd like to kind of closer inspect here in the G-Wing while you're here?
Yeah, I'd actually like to ask, Dr. Berger, do you have any, outdoor, recreational, a yard? Do you have a yard?
Of course, that's what I was going to bring you next.
Excellent. And where do you do, when people do family visits and tours, is it kind of around this area and the dormitories? Is there a special place for that?
In general, what I prefer to do most is to bring the patient to one of the meeting rooms. I'll often bring them into the study area or possibly into the dining room if a meal is not active, or maybe into one of the lounges and recreational centers. Here in one of the immediately adjacent wings, it can be troublesome for folks if they're having to visit family and they're near to individuals who are more antisociable. So generally we will bring the patient from their requisite wing forward and have them meet in one of these more friendly seeming areas. And the only times we really can't exempt this rule is for those who are in the extreme wings, who have demonstrated that they are no longer safe to be around. And in general, we're happy to accommodate for correspondence, but we avoid having direct familial visits with those who are in the extreme wings.
Understood. That makes sense to me. I guess then, while Doc is looking around, Doc's gonna get a quick I just want to look at the inmates, right? He mentioned that those who are... inmates... Well, it's an institution. They're institutionalized. They're inmates.
The word would be patients, but from everything you've grokked up to this point, inmate is probably not inappropriate as a term.
Yeah. So for these patients, the ones that are friendlier and are out and about, I want to see if they're medicated, or if I can tell.
I want two roles here. I want, for kind of two different elements, I want a psychology role to read kind of things like body language and the like, and I'd like a spot hidden role to see if there's just physical aspects you've yet to grok about the patients themselves.
Yeah. The first one is a 31.
I'm assuming that was the psych roll?
Yes. My psych is 40.
Nice.
Okay.
Very nice, very nice. That's a success. And then the spot hidden.
Nice. Spot hidden's a 35 against 45.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Two
Okay.
successes in a row.
Okay.
Doc's
I got
in the
sharp
office.
eyes.
On the psychology side of things, you notice that as you take a peer into some of the individual cells, as you take a look over to the various patients who are currently spending some time in the parlors, the dining room, the dormitories, there is a bit of a visible shrinking away from the superintendent as he approaches, a bit of a fearful reaction to his presence. Though you also notice that they're not running, hiding, and cowering in fear. It's more of the subtle, the level of recoil that they wouldn't be able to stop themselves from doing in a fear response. But also you get that kind of grok of, in the presence of a guest, they are trying to seem like everything's cool and normal.
Sure, they're they know that if they act up in front of guests, they don't get dinner.
And on the spot hidden roll, you notice that of basically every single one of the patients you see features at least one noticeable bit of physical scarring or injury. There's not a consistency to it. It's not like all of them on their left wrist have some marking or something, but One that you see has a scar that runs up his right forearm. Another has kind of a gouge into his, like, the side of his right knee. Another one of his eye sockets is kind of like just empty and is kind of red and weepy. Every single one you see has at least one instance that you notice on a kind of glance over. You're not disrobing these people and doing a thorough examination, but almost all of them have some form of pretty bad-looking physical injury.
I put my hand to my facial scar that's covered by the mask, and I just kind of think about it.
Anything else you want to inspect here? Actually, you had a good spot hit and roll on the folks at the dormitory. I'll give one more detail. You notice what the man who's drawing in charcoal is drawing.
Yeah.
It's a spiral.
Siguzumaki reference.
The drawing itself seems to be of an animal of some sort, but you're not immediately able to grok what animal it is. It's not exactly in line with a creature you know. It looks, you'd call it like kind of toad-like. Looks kind of like a big frog, but it's got like a bunch of eyes.
You mentioned that there were some books. Can I get a brief scan of some of the titles?
Let's take a library use roll.
39 over 80.
39 over 80. That's a hard success. A decent amount of the books are the kind of things you would expect. There is a smattered mixture of basic self-help kind of stuff, the things that are, written to get one's life back on track. There are books on, like, the topics of, like, but you with a hard success, these are, like, top-level skimming to teach the uneducated type books, like Introduction to Psychoanalysis, like stuff about, like, why are you here in an asylum kind of books.
Right.
There's a lot of books on kind of basic education topics, almanacs, encyclopedias, the like. There is one notable trend you pick up on in the histories you notice. There's a lot of, like, local history books, and you kind of grok, like, oh, there's like 3 different books here that would cover the Salem witch trials. And you're like, oh, we're like right next to Salem. Danvers is like spitting distance from Salem.
Whoa. Okay.
A lot of hallowed ground around here.
This place has always been just cool as a cucumber.
Yeah,
Everything's
nothing,
fine.
no angry spirits or disturbed ghosts around here.
Yeah, and you notice that one is a biography of Judge John Hawthorne, and the hill that this institute is built on is Hawthorne Hill.
Okay. I guess my last question is, on the doors, what kind of locks are there? Are there locks?
Yep.
Can I learn anything about them?
They have what look to be fairly basic locks built into the door itself.
The door's wooden or metal?
Doors are wooden.
Okay. Well, those are easy to break into.
Especially when you've got a gun.
Especially when you've got a gun. Locks don't matter when you've got gun.
Just shoot the lock like in the movie. That always works, and it never goes wrong. I promise.
Anyway, all right. I think sounds about right. Take me to the yard.
Alrighty. From there, he takes you to the yard. Woo. The yard is a nice kind of open space. Seems the focus is there's not like a bunch of discrete activity centers. There's not like a baseball field and a squash court and the like, but it's a nice open kind of promenade style area, ringed in by beautiful, well-kept trees that kind of encircle the rear half of the hospital. The grounds themselves sport a few smaller buildings. You grok both the boiler room and the staff facilities that were identified by Rat Food, and those identifications are confirmed by Dr. Berger. He points to the staffing facilities that are unconnected from the building and says, if at any point you're in need of sleeping on premises, ideally it would be there. That's where we got the beds and the staff kitchen as well. Please let me know if you've got any additional questions on the logistical side of things, but frankly, once we're here in the yard, it's just nice to enjoy the post-rain fog, isn't it?
Yeah, this is quite beautiful. What kind of walls? Is it like walled in?
No.
No.
Someone who made it out of the main building would have a big hill to like get down, but it's not like a mountain. It's, you'd be running down a big hill and then you'd be in Danvers in a couple miles.
Okay, so let's say
you're not inside of like a walled fortress. The wall is the giant wings of the facility, but there isn't another wall around that.
Oh, okay. So like if someone got outside and ran away, they could just run.
Yeah, they could just run. It like I said, it's a semicircle. It's not enclosed. If you were to get out, you would be outside.
Okay, great. Yeah. Good to know.
But you do notice he's mentioned that they're short on staff. There's a lot of orderlies and nurses about, just in terms of like amount of traffic you're seeing going to and fro from the staffing house and those patrolling the grounds. There are some who are walking with a patient, a group of patients. There are some who are seemingly like cutting across the semicircle to go from one far wing to another far wing without like having to go through the interior hallways of the building. It may be entirely correct that they're short-staffed and you're just still kind of grokking the sheer scope and size of this facility. If Berger's telling the truth, almost 3,000 patients would need a lot of staff on hand. But at least to your eye, as a doctor, you wouldn't see this and say, oh, they're completely like fucked, they've got no staff.
Okay. Do the other patients that they're hanging around with or the staff themselves continue to have these disfigurements?
Berger is kind of routing you in such a way where you're kind of walking your own path and you're not super close to any of these folks. You'd need to kind of intentionally divert yourself to get close enough to check that. Do you want to?
Yeah, I'm gonna start heading a little bit towards the in the direction of toward the facilities, the staff facilities, and just kind of...
None of the patients are really around the staff facility. They're just in areas of the ground that you're not in.
Okay.
It would be, to my mind, it would be tough to route yourself towards any of the patients outside without making it clear that, like, that is what you're doing.
Got it. Instead, I will say to Berger, do you mind if I take a look at your staff facilities so I can see what I'm working with?
Not at all. You take some time in the interior of the staff facilities. As you enter, Dr. Berger, I think he would introduce you, gives a little ring of a bell that is placed onto a small side table near the entrance into the larger dining room. With a ring, he says, "Attention, everyone!" You see the faces of various nurses kind of come up, and all eyes are on you for a moment. Sorry, did you introduce yourself by your name? You didn't.
I said Dr. Capote.
You said Dr. Capote. Did you give a first name?
No.
You didn't. As you're walking in, Berger leans over to you and he says, "I'm so sorry if I'm forgetting. I don't think I got your first name."
Rachel.
Rachel, thank you.
I think at that point, Barbara did not expect that question.
Nope.
Rachel. First thing.
Rachel.
Sorry.
He gets up, rings the bell. "Attention, everyone. This is Dr. Rachel Capote, generously visiting us from Boston University." All eyes are kind of on you. You see a cavalcade of various nurses, orderlies, and other groundskeeper employees, all of whom are in the process of eating a meal. You gauge the time. It'd be about lunchtime, so maybe that's part of the reason you're seeing so much action to and fro from this house right about now. Scanning the room, there's at least 50 people in here, so, takes a lot of staff to run a place like this. Dr. Capote is visiting us from Boston University with intents to do some studies in the coming weeks and months. I hope you are as kind to her as you are to each other and our patients, and that you have some patience. There are, we'll call them begrudging chuckles, around the room, in any assistance that's needed for the experiments she'll be conducting. She's told me she may be bringing a little bit of additional help from BU, but it's largely her who'll be running her experiments. So if we've any leeway in our scheduling, I'll be happy to follow up with any of you who are interested in special assignment. Dr. Capote, any words?
Hi, hello. How you doing? Pleasure to meet you. Yeah, just taking a good tour of the facilities. Please don't mind me. Continue with your work as you were. I look forward to grant approval so I can get to know all of you better. And I give a curt nod. I realize you can't see my face because I'm wearing a mask.
Yep. Let's have a similar setup roll that you had for the patients earlier. I want to see what you grok from like the reactions of these folks. Let's have another psych roll and another spot hidden roll.
Mm-hmm. I also want to keep my eye out for potential body doubles for the three of us. People who are similar in size and stature.
I like that a lot. So let's have a psych roll, a spot hidden roll for their mental reaction and just any physical stuff that you're not noticing on the immediate side of things. And then I'll see if I need a third roll for the that last thing.
First, psych roll. Ooh, that's 81 over 40.
On the psych level, it's a bunch of people who are mid-meal who have been interrupted but are in attention for their boss. It's exactly the level of emotional transparency you expect from an impromptu team meeting, which is to say, very little.
Yeah.
Not much you're able to grok in terms of how they feel about you.
That's fine, they just met me. Mm-hmm. And I'm interrupting their lunch. Ooh, 80... Is that 81 again?
That was 2 81s in a row.
Jesus. Really not winning the crowd over with spot
See,
hidden.
your bedside manner is great, but your office manner is terrible. Like, they just...
I don't think my bedside manner is that good, to be honest.
Hey, you're a mob doctor for a reason.
Yeah.
You work with folks who don't have a lot of other options.
Yeah, sadly, that's 81 over 45. That's not going to go either. I don't see much.
Nothing you see. You know what you see? Folks eating lunch. So in that case, with both of those being failures, I do think I'm going to want another roll separate for the body doubles question.
Could it be medicine? You know, like the study of bodies? No.
I will say,
away.
with both of those being failures, I'm not feeling super generous on the choice for that final skill. And the only other thing I think really fits here would just be the disguise skill, because you're looking for those to be disguised as. So roll me your disguise skill.
Oh, boy.
You can always roll.
You can always crit.
You can always crit.
You're right.
I gotta believe.
52. No way.
That is kind of close.
Yeah.
Right?
they're-
If you think about it in the way that it's close to 5.
It's got a 5 in it.
It's got a 5 in it.
52 over 5.
All right.
Yeah. You look around the room, no immediate groks of anyone who looks like a sopping, wet, rat-made man, made woman, made creature. And you also do not spot 2 large, butch Italians.
Yeah.
The diversity in this place is lacking.
I should have taken a better look at the patients to find body doubles. So I have a question about the wings, right? Mm-hmm. From the outside and from Rat Food scurrying, there are multiple stories or like levels. So I want to know what's up with that. Like, is it the wings just continue in floors upwards?
That one I think Berger would just answer verbally. He says the higher floors simply have additional holding rooms, but they don't feature the downstairs facilities of the dining room and the lobbies and the like.
So when it's time to dine, they come downstairs?
Yep.
Okay. And then I ask about the spire. So what's up with the spires?
Beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah, from the outside, gorgeous. This place looks like a castle almost.
Yeah, it was built in 1878. Quite a beautiful thing it is. There's one that's a little close to my office that is just lovely as a viewing platform. The remainder of them I don't think can be entered. I believe they're just decorative.
Sure, would you mind taking me up? I'd love to take a view.
Let's take a look. He leads you back inside, up to the very apex of the spire, and you gaze out over the whole thing. And he kind of smacks himself, and then he goes, I forgot to show you my pride and joy. And he points out to it. He's like, oh, we've a decent view from here. And out over the way, you see this big amphitheater that's built that you noticed on the way in.
Yeah. Sounds like a good place to summon a Cthulhu, if you ask me.
It is adjacent to a large reservoir of water. You're able to see it. It is foggy, so it's a little tough to make out all of the details. But he says, this beautiful amphitheater, I had it commissioned and built shortly after I began my tenure here. And, the grounds are beautiful, the trees are lovely, and our interior facilities are quite nice, but we were lacking a communal aspect. And I figured this would be a really lovely place to heighten the degree of kind of a sense of a whole Danvers Hospital family, you know? I feel like folks in the H-Wing would feel like I'm H-Wing, and folks in the D-Wing would be I'm D-Wing, and they wouldn't interact much with each other, even on the grounds. And it's not good practice for socializing, right? For reintegration into society. So we'll occasionally, hire performers to come out, and we'll have all of those who are safe to attend, of course. We're very careful regarding this. But we'll have members of the interior wings come out and enjoy performances. We've had a jazz band that was quite lovely, and all sorts, really. I'd love to get a patient performance going, but it's tough to get the ball rolling.
Sure. It's nerve-wracking stuff, I get a little stage fright myself. And the operation theater, everyone's looking at you and you're just trying to do your work,
You wouldn't believe me if I told you, but I do as well. Yeah, even when I'm speaking to the employees, it's all practice,
Sure. It's good to keep things in the family. Do you mind if we take a look at the amphitheater?
Please, let's enjoy. He guides you on down, through and beyond the grounds, past the trees and onwards to the amphitheater.
I wonder if before we get to the amphitheater, I say, excuse me, I gotta use the little girl's room.
I love when people say that.
Please, there's lavatories in each of the wings.
I was hoping to use the one that was slightly close to the empty superintendent's office.
Sure. If there's a lavatory nearby.
Is he like watching me? Is he hanging out?
Does he watch you while you piss? No.
No.
Does he?
Is he gonna like?
He would lead you to the nearest lavatory.
All right, I'll take it.
Yep. You piss good.
No, inside the bathroom.
Roll the percentile.
Sorry,
dice.
roll percentile. That's terrible.
Well, I rolled.
Yeah, roll con.
Roll con. That's an 11. That's actually pretty good. If I rolled high, I would have had coffee poops.
Yeah.
But I rolled low, so no.
All good.
All
Shit's
good.
clear. Drink a lot of water today.
Yeah. Are there any windows from the inside, or is it like an indoor?
Of the restroom?
Yeah.
Let me check.
I rolled an 11, so it could lead to the outside. Just a thought.
8.
To consider, I made a roll for no reason.
Consider. I made the piss roll. and the piss roll was good.
Unfortunately,
I pissed so good, it drilled a hole into the ground that I can tunnel through.
I am very sorry to report that the lavatory does not have any windows.
That's fine. I probably don't find anything interesting. It's a bathroom.
But you feel quite relieved.
I feel quite relieved.
Yeah, gain a sanity point.
You know, I'll take that roll as a spot hidden roll. As you're leaving the restroom, where you were pissing, super normal. When you enter, one of the stalls is already in use, likely another staff member. You are still on the toilet when they leave, and as you finish up, you stand, go to exit, and see that the door to their stall is now open. And on the interior of the door of that stall, there is like scratched into the door interior an image of like a many-eyed toad.
I was hoping for something like that.
Yeah.
Huh. Wonder if that's like some kind of mascot.
Let's go the Danvers Toads!
Danvers
The
Toads.
Danvers Toads. For audience pleasure, I did just make a spot hidden roll, which was 42 over 45. Just in case anyone felt that was unfair.
You know what?
There you go.
That's so legit. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
Julie,
Yes.
there was an inpatient, who was drawing an animal with charcoal. Is it the same?
Pretty darn similar,
Toad
yeah.
with many eyes?
Toad with many
Okay,
eyes.
It's the same
design.
thing. I wonder if this toad is,
Gonna cause problems later.
Is he in the lake? Oh, okay.
Alright.
Heading to the amphitheater, you say?
Speaking of, let's take a look.
Alrighty.
You know what?
Roll me a dodge roll. The tongue's coming at
With toads on the mind, I'm just keeping an eye out for them.
The amphitheater is down the path a little bit beyond. It's technically still within the tree ring exterior. The tree kind of goes further beyond the edge of the reservoir. The reservoir is kind of on the far northern end of the hill. Is it? Wait, is this map? Did they change map orientations from map 1 to map 2? I'm gonna fucking be so mad if they did that.
This is your
wait a minute.
trials.
This is my...
This module is
No,
your
it totally is. Okay, they got their map wrong. They drew it wrong. They drew the map in this module
Somebody
incorrectly.
call the Danvers Mental
I have
Institution.
audited it off of the actual Danvers Mental Hospital floor plan from 1878. Their maps are incorrect.
Well, looks like we're gonna need a
Get
Ouija board to contact them.
I'm so sorry to all of the dead members of Chaosium who wrote this adventure, who we must now Ouija board to contact.
I was thinking
In a post-mortem.
But yes,
And
so
join us on our Patreon for our very silent interview episode.
it's not great for pod now, is it? It is north. It is further beyond the apex of the semicircle that would end with the J ward. Same direction you had been going on the interior originally. He leads you all the way along the exterior paths in the direction of the amphitheater proper.
The J ward is the most violent ward,
Yes.
right? Okay, interesting. Continue.
And there is actually one of the paths you notice that you, not the path you walk along, but another path that you notice that later adjoins with the path you're walking along, literally like connects with the rear entrance to the J ward, like the entrance that will be at the end of the semicircle, like empties out onto that path. And all of these paths converge towards the amphitheater, which, unsurprising, it's kind of the only constructed element in the area. Not a lot of other things to have roads lead towards. And decidedly Roman it looks. It is a large, tiered amphitheater, kind of a half circle, almost reminiscent of the shape of the hospital itself, overlooking a centralized stage. And the stage itself, instead of having a backdrop, simply opens out onto the beautiful reservoir itself. A bluish, silvery sheen reflects foggy on the water. He brings you on down and says, I mean, there's no fancy trick to show off. It's not a theater with any props or magic built in, but it's beautiful, isn't it? I really was quite proud of the construction that was done here.
Yeah, it's an absolute beauty. Totally gorgeous. How much does it roughly seat? What, 100 people?
Oh, more than that. If we really pack in, we can get just over 1,000 butts in the seats. So we can bring in just over a third of the total patient populace. Generally comes out to about a third because we like to invite staff as well, and that's if we get really good turnout. I think there's only been one time we've managed to fill the whole theater, but baby
Ooh.
steps.
What was that for?
It was that jazz band I mentioned. They came through 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah, it's a big craze. Everybody loves it. What does the ground look like of the amphitheater? Is it just like natural ground, or is it like a wooden floor stage?
So for the amphitheater's construction itself, the stage is worked stone that has been constructed and set into the earth, and then the same stone material is used for the amphitheater seating, which runs semicircular, diameter about 250 feet around, 4 tiers of seats, I believe. So there's still like visible bits of ground, but a lot of it now has this like worked stone set into it. So it wasn't like cut straight from the hill, but definitely some amount of ground had to be displaced in the like creation of this.
Okay. And the stage itself?
Same material as the stone seats.
Okay.
It's like very like classically Greco-Roman style amphitheater.
Sure. Any fun engravings I notice?
Give me a spot hidden roll.
39 under 45.
In terms of engravings, you're not seeing like a bunch of spiral patterns or Cthulhu Fatagan inscriptions. There's inset both in the stage itself and in between like the blocks of stone. you notice that there are these kind of like worn in divots, either divots like deep into the dirt that have been kind of compacted in, or in some cases, little holes that have been drilled into the stone at kind of regular intervals all throughout the amphitheater.
For torches? I just point.
Yes. If we do night performances, it's nice to have some natural firelight.
Sure. Yeah, wow, must be a great place you doing. And as we're walking back to the asylum, it's like, oh yeah, that's a beautiful theater. You do any Shakespeare?
I would love to do some Shakespeare, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I heard it's good for patients, therapeutic, or so they say. So, yeah, with the amphitheater, very classically Greco-Roman. You fan of the classics? You mentioned Shakespeare. What about the, like Euripides?
Love Euripides.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Bacchae is a personal favorite. Love Medea. I really do think like the old classics we can learn a lot from.
Sure, yeah. Lots of stuff about madness in those ones for sure.
I like to think that it is easy for modern man to think that the ancient times bore no wisdom, and I think that's short-sighted. I think it is good to learn from as many vectors as possible.
That's fair. Yeah, I noticed that painting in your office. Real big, beautiful thing, but I don't think that's how the story of St. George goes.
It's traditionally not. I get a lot of looks for the painting. Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I was beautiful. The way that they rendered the organs and the flesh, it just looks so live, it's really beautiful stuff. And you can see like a weird glimmer in Doc's eyes.
I'm glad you appreciate it. Many like to comment a little perversely about it, and I keep it. It was a gift presented to me by the patients. So I think it would be very crass if I was to get rid of it. To be in a mental institution for a period of time, it grants one new insights. It grants, at times, a bit of a dark sense of humor. So I appreciate it. I think it's beautifully done. I laugh more often than I feel bad when I see it. It leads to a lot of this conversation. I appreciate that you have a sense of humor about it and think it looks nice, because it's beautiful, isn't it?
Right. I mean, I'm a doctor of medicine. That stuff doesn't creep me out. It fascinates me, always has fascinated
I agree.
me. It's beautiful, Doc. Thank you for this tour. I really appreciate your time.
It has been a pleasure to meet you, Dr. Capote. I apologize if I was a little standoffish earlier on. I was just coming out of a very frustrating meeting about the funding, and I'm sure you understand things have been a little raucous these days. And
Sure. Hey, listen, if I like what I see, I'm hoping maybe if you could arrange a visit with some patients after I send some more paperwork back to university, I could get a better case going. Could send out a nice letter, and maybe a funding problem won't be such a problem in the near future. What do you think?
let's have one final This is an interesting one. I would put this either under, this could be a few things. This could be fast talk, this could be social credit, or this could be persuade. Because you're trying to throw kind of the money of the university around. And you're also lying that you're a representative of that university.
Well, I did go to BU.
You are lying that you are a representative actively of that university.
Yeah. Fair.
Given how well the most recent visit yesterday went.
Yeah.
Well, my fast talk is 5.
I'm guessing credit rating is
and my
probably...
persuade is 10. So I'm
Hit
gonna
that
go
social credit.
with credit, which is 40. Come on, baby. Oh. 56. I would have to spend
A decent chunk of luck or push it.
decent chunk of luck.
I don't need him to.
Things have gone pretty well so
You've
far.
gotten the ball
I-
rolling.
yeah.
Succeeding here could expedite the process a little bit, but only as much as you're able to expedite the process yourself, so
I'll let it slide.
Yeah.
He can just think that I'm talking big.
yeah. He says, makes me very excited to hear. It's been a pleasure to meet you, Dr. Capote. I'll be excited to hear from you in the coming weeks.
Pleasure.
Alrighty. With that, we've one last person to interrogate here. I'm curious, what Large Marge is getting up to during this tour.
I am in the car with Rat Food, and I turn to her and I say, Rat Food.
Rock, paper, scissors. No, yeah.
Okay, well, one more time. Okay.
All right.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Gun beats everything.
I'm not playing with you anymore. You do this every time.
Because I always win.
You're not winning. You're cheating.
Nice.
Can't spell Bart without rat misspelled. Good old gun.
Rat
Nothing
Food,
beats that.
If I leave you in this car,
Yeah.
are you gonna climb out the car?
I mean, should I not? You don't want me to look
I don't want
around?
you to, but I need to know if you're going to. Are you actually going to stay in here if I leave?
Probably not.
All right, come with me.
So where is Large Marge bringing Rat Food along with?
We're going right to the front desk.
Alrighty.
I take off my welding mask.
Yeah, put that in the car.
8 different orderlies like, we can't find the welder. No, that's not true. None of them saw you.
Good morning. Hello, I'm here to visit one of my family members. Recently added in here.
You here to visit family?
Uh-huh.
The nurse at the front desk looks austerely down the slope of her nose. Name and relation.
I am Barbara Croswell. I am cousin to Lawrence Croswell.
Oh.
This is my sister Rachel Croswell. She's touched, so she must stay with me at all times.
How's it going? So you like it here? Or? Okay.
The nurse spends a frustratingly long time just flipping through pages in a very large book. And you're like Croswell, it's a C. Like,
I know,
absolutely this has to not be taking this long. But then she goes, Lawrence Croswell.
Is it sorted by first name? Alphabetically?
Yeah, no. I apologize.
Alright.
We're not allowing visitation for Mr. Croswell right now.
Why?
Mr. Croswell has been acting in a violent manner in the past couple of weeks. And we're not permitting visitations with violent patients. It's not going to be safe for you. It's not going to be safe for him. My apologies if this is your first time hearing about it.
I think she leans onto the desk and
Crunch.
She's like, that's interesting because he didn't check himself in here too long ago, and he was good enough to write me a letter and then write me another letter in even better health. So I'm worried, because Lawrence has never been a violent guy, that he's deteriorated that much in your care. Is that what you're saying to me right now?
We've been giving him the apex of care that we can, but if violence occurs, we have to be very careful with this type of thing. We can't be allowing violence near the other patients. Please get off the desk.
Well, it's not around the other patients, around me, his family, so I think we should see him.
Give me an intimidate roll. You're trying to lord over this lady.
85.
Rat Food's fingers are twitching.
That is 52 over 85.
The nurse kind of relents as her initial pushback on you is not accepted, and you lean in further, looking severe. She gives kind of a sharp whistle over her shoulder. 2 surly, taciturn orderlies emerge from one of the side rooms and say, "Yes, ma'am." And she goes, "Jameson, Richard, I'm gonna need you to escort it was Ms. Barbara. Ms. Barbara Croswell for a brief visitation with Lawrence Croswell in the J-Wing. Understood?" And they go, "Yes, ma'am." And they begin to lead you along.
Come on, Rachel.
They are leading you along the interiors, heading north, kind of northwesterly, through the G to the H to the I to the J wings. The G wing being the one that was explored in-game probably about 15 minutes prior by Doc, because I'm assuming you gave Doc kind of a window.
Yeah.
Are you going in only after Doc comes back and reports everything, or are you taking the opportunity to be proactive?
I'm going to take the opportunity to be proactive. I think this is not the first sting all of us have done we know that it is more suspicious if one person leaves and then not too long
Immediately,
after
yeah.
another person that looks kind of similar. Like,
I would agree.
You know, so like I staggered enough that it's not back to back, but we go.
Mm-hmm. Let me have a psychology roll from each of you as you proceed through the interior.
Okay, I fail with an 85 over 65.
Whoa. I passed with a 10 over 10.
Wow!
Oh!
Wow.
Bananas!
You see
Rachel
too
is
much
on
of
her
yourself.
best behavior.
Oh my,
see yourself.
God.
I do see myself.
You do see yourself, and in a little bit of a sad thing that you're seeing, you are seeing patients that kind of visibly recoil from the orderlies as they pass. Behavior that begins basically right away in the G-Wing and continues all the way clean through, all the way to J. When y'all compare notes later, it's much more apparent in front of the orderlies than it was in front of the superintendent. But the fear is the same either way, but it's a lot more visible when it's not the boss man. As you progress through the wards, the severity of the patient's conditions correspondingly increases. Like I mentioned earlier, you're noticing physical deformation, you're noticing injuries and wounds on almost every single person you meet to some degree or another. A boxed ear here, a black eye there, a scar, a gouge, a broken bone. There are vanishingly few patients here who don't have some form of physical injury, and this is primarily known as a mental hospital. Let's have a spot hidden roll from each of you as well.
Yeah, and then I would like to comment on that.
Yeah.
I got a 23 over 60, so I got a hard success.
Nice.
I got a 72 over 70. Is it worth it if you got a hard success for me to get a middling success?
I think that's kind of the joy of having two of us here. Let's let me have.
Yeah, I think I'll just let you have your hard
success
success, and I'll save my luck for right now.
With a hard success, and good choice, because this one was hard only.
Yeah.
Hard or extreme only.
I think Rat Food's getting too like distracted by maybe seeing a bit of herself in the people here to like notice anything. I think she notices too much, like all of the physical scarring and the reactions to the guards.
Yeah.
And it reminds her a little bit of like how she used to be.
You notice that one of the two orderlies, Richard, has a kind of puffy red scar on his wrist that runs up his arm and kind of disappears up his coat sleeve. Mm-hmm. So even some of the staff members are sporting kind of noticeable wounds.
And also, the people here are pretty thin, right? Like, there's no one that's like. Am I seeing anyone that's like muscly?
There's some muscly folks
Okay.
here. There's a few who have kept themselves fit. It trends thin, to be sure, but they are not uniformly emaciated.
Okay.
Their nutritional content could almost certainly be way better across the board, but they are not uniformly starved.
Whoa, this looks worse than an underground fighting ring. What's going on here?
I'm not sure what you're referring to, ma'am.
Everyone here is injured.
It's, unfortunate. We try our best to stop it before it happens, but a lot of these folks can wind up getting violent. A lot of it's self-inflicted. We try our best to mitigate, but it only takes one time someone slips through the cracks.
What happened to your wrist?
Take a guess.
A patient?
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Wahoo!
What do we get? What do we win?
Well,
You
sorry.
win a visit to the J Ward. Enjoy. And with that, the door opens to the J Ward, and things have been getting worse in the I Ward. Doors transitioned from wood to metal. The smell of antiseptic has been increasing more and more with each subsequent journey away from the center. Patients are more often featuring harsher disfigurements. Many are like missing limbs, are wheelchair bound or on crutches when they're ambulating. The further you get in, you're not seeing patients who are like chilling in the lounge area anymore. It's basically everyone is in their cell, period. When you get to the J-Wing, I'm just going to need an immediate sanity roll.
Okay.
This is against power.
You roll against your sanity.
Oh.
Okay, so current 54 for me.
60 under 69.
That is
Success?
That is 58 over 54.
A failure. You take a single point of sanity damage as you are rattled by the severity of what you see and hear in the J ward. Your senses are assailed. Shrieks, sobs, and giddy laughter echo down the corridors. The stench of urine and feces is at this point barely masked by the antiseptic cleaning agents. The doors, all metal, all locked, now feature minuscule peepholes through not the large windows the prior ones had included. One figure behind a metal door stares out at you with raw, weeping, empty eye sockets, both eyes completely gone. Even among the less afflicted, long scars and gouges pockmark the flesh. They lead you deep, deep within to the cell J12 and give a harsh Crosswell, you've got family visiting. Keep it brief. The door swings open as they unlock the door. He sits, a man in his 50s, messy black hair, olive skin. He looks deeply haggard. He yet lacks the horrible disfigurements displayed by many throughout the J ward. As Larry Crosswell looks up, expecting family, he sees a family of a different sort. A deep acquaintance, a curious child. Not the cousin he wrote to, but help in a form he did not expect. The mild-mannered author Larry Crosswell looks at two seasoned criminals, and everyone, save the orderlies, becomes deeply curious as to what exactly is going to happen next on the next episode of Tiny Table.
I actually have tears in my eyes.
Oh, man.
So scary.
Man, dude.
Oh my.
Hi, and thank you for listening to our podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, then we'd really appreciate if you left us a review. If you really like what we do here and want to support us further, you can join us at patreon.com/tinytablepodcast. Our business email is also open for inquiries at tinytablebusiness@gmail.com, and all of our socials can be found in the episode description for any shenanigans you might want to follow. Till next time, see ya! Welcome to the Shout-Out Corner. Oops, all inmates edition. Stefan, admitted to the B ward for always speaking in perfect rhyme, even when using words like orange and silver. E.g., who, after being granted the ability to escape any prison by a magical genie, was admitted to the D ward as a loophole to their strange powers. Nancy, admitted to the A ward because they wanted, quote, a change of pace. Not my first choice personally, but hey, you do you. Drake, admitted to the J ward because sadly they have a much more dangerous and sadly much more elusive twin brother and was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Ugh, sorry, buddy. Jordan, who discovered the truth of Cthulhu mythos, but sadly was a bit too eager to share their discovery and now remain in the H ward. Bethany, one of the jazz performers who performed at the amphitheater and got mistaken for a patient who tried to escape earlier that same day. Now they're in the Now they're in the G Major 7 ward.
That's a me joke.
Wow, nice, Skylar. Womp womp. And I, Dungeon Gal, admitted to the C ward for being so empathetic and kind that they developed psychic powers, which sadly freaked everyone out. Hope y'all can get out on good behavior soon. Watch out for the frogs.